Just when you thought it was safe to turn on your TV.
Just when you thought it was safe to get outside without a mask or pants, we're back. And we're going to rat you out. We're going to call the number. brla.gov/COVID report if you want to do it from your handy-dandy wireless device.
That's what we're going to talk about first, is apparently the governor, who has decided to keep us for another month in phase two.
This is the city.
I'm getting to it. I'm getting around to the mayor. But look, it's because we're not doing what the governor says that the mayor, because they're all in lockstep. Them Democrats, man, they link up elbows and they, and
the Republicans don't?
Sure they do.
All right, then. Let's get to the point.
Sure they do. I've never been one to take one side over the other.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this.
The governor's unhappy because we're not enough of us are wearing those masks and practicing that social distancing, and they're getting some disturbing reports about some of you businesses out there that dare to want to make a profit. Oh, no! Our mayor, in her ultimate wisdom, has decided to set up a line where you can call to report businesses who are not in compliance with the Phase 2 regulations.
Does this work?
It's very becoming.
It has holes in it.
It's very becoming. Will it protect me from your sneeze?
I don't know. Let's sneeze and try it.
Here's what bothers me. I don't mind that they're going to set up a snitch line. I mean, this is the age of the snitch line. We're in 1984. Wrong think will be punished. Right think will be rewarded. My problem is it's anonymous. And I think if you're going to be a snitch, you should have some balls and stand up and say, yes, I'm your snitch. That's what I think. Just put it just that bluntly. I don't like anonymous snitch. And before you say anything, there's a mechanism. Crime Stoppers is anonymous because people's lives could be at stake, because some of these are very violent crimes. Crime Stoppers is anonymous for a reason.
Well, they're going to make the argument that people's lives are at stake from this virus, and to some extent they are. Here is the real difference. I will tell you about, what was it, a month and a half ago, we got to where you could dine in on outside tables at restaurants.
Yes.
And Karen and I went to a restaurant that...
They were snitch-worthy?
Oh, my God. If I had a number to call, I would have called it, but I would not have done it anonymously. I would have given my name, my phone number, so they could contact me back. And since I'm a fairly regular customer there, I wanted them to know when whoever it was would come, here is the reason we were called here. It was Bill Profita. He saw you doing this, this, and this. And you need to stop doing that. But this is completely different.
Well, I'd asked Bill, I saw Bill post this on social media the other day, and I said, would you mind repeating this on the television show? So if you don't mind, would you set it up and then give your response to the nice lady?
And guys, put the number on the screen, because I want to talk to everybody. I don't care if you live in Baton Rouge or Lafayette or in Jefferson Parish or Orleans Parish or the river parishes.
Get in on this conversation, 225-831-1029.
Because something like this is likely to be happening where you are sometime soon. And there were a lot of people that were commenting on this. And somebody, a very nice lady, named Nancy Taylor, said, "It's if people get a general reminder that they should be wearing a mask, then maybe more people will do what's right by their friend and their neighbor." And here is what I said, and I didn't realize it was going to catch fire the way that it did, but this is very true. I had posted, "This is not gentle. If I thought a restaurant snubbed me, I could drop a dime on them anonymously all day, every day, tie up their management, treat their customers to an endless parade of enforcement agents, and probably get them put into a database as having a high number of complaints. If you or anyone thinks someone is operating dangerously and you're concerned, your report should not be anonymous. You should own it, and whomever they send should have to reveal who lodged the complaint. That would be, as they say, fair. But that is not the way this is set up.
No, it's not fair at all.
Well,
And it's too easy to game an anonymous system to do,
God.
as you said, you could just, whether it be out of spite or enmity, maybe you just, the restaurant owner or the business owner, you just hate that SOB. Yeah, I've known that guy for years. He's just a prick. I mean, you could just decide to just put a guy's business to waste by flooding it with anonymous tips.
And there are people that might just think it's kind of funny. Let's see what happens. The juveniles that pulled the fire alarm in the high school hallway, those two morons across the river that put a box on a neighbor's doorstep and said, "Dangerous, do not open."
Silly women.
And the bomb squad was called out, and there was nothing in the box. And they, well, we were just joking around, and now they're going to plea bargain down to 5 years as opposed to the 10 that they might have gotten. But this is wrong. If you feel strongly enough, if you feel you have a duty, it's kind of like, have you ever been on the highway behind somebody who looks like they're drunk while they're driving? And you pick up and you call 911?
Yep.
The first thing they ask you,
What's your name?
read back your number, and they ask you your name, which is as it should be. But I've had it. This guy was driving about 120 miles an hour. I'm not kidding, and hitting both sidelines on a 2-lane highway, Highway 30.
So you dropped a dime on him.
Absolutely.
But you went on record as the guy who dropped the dime.
This, and to come from the city parish government, and it's got a beautiful graphic of a cell phone, and it says you can do it anonymously. Call this number or br.gov or brla.gov/COVID report, and we'll keep you anonymous. You know what that says to me? That says you can mess with businesses all day long and not face any kind of penalty if, in fact, you are simply messing with them. The government is giving you cover on this, and that's wrong. Is it just me?
I don't think so. Let's find out. We're inviting your calls right now. 225-831-1029. What do you think about a system? Now, we can talk about whether you think it's okay to tip that someone is not in compliance, that a business is not in compliance with Phase 2. But more specifically, how do you feel about the ability to tip anonymously, to rat people out anonymously? 831-1029. Quick break. We're going to be back with Exiles TV in just minutes.
State Treasurer John Schroeder, encouraging you to visit latreasury.com to search for your unclaimed property money. During this pandemic, we've returned money to businesses, local governments, and people across Louisiana.
New Orleans Habitat for Humanity found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Treasury.
Audubon Nature Institute has unclaimed property.
I found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Department of Treasury.
We still have over $800 million. This is your money. Claim it.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling. Misery
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us this morning. We are talking about this anonymous COVID tip line, and it's not just we're in Baton Rouge, but we know our program goes to Lafayette and Opelousas,
Jefferson Parish,
Thibodaux, and Homa, and Morgan City, and down the river parishes. You know, you probably have something like this in place where you live.
Well, I leaned on Jefferson Parish when I just said it because the parish president there has just issued an executive order making masks mandatory while in public. Now, if that's the executive order, how long before the tip line goes into effect?
Yeah.
Call and report people who aren't wearing the mask.
Is it still one of the Yennies?
No, it's one of the Lees. It's Cynthia Lee. Forgive me, I've forgotten.
Because I
Ms.
love
Lee's
the
married name.
Yeti's ice chest products.
That's Yeti, not Yenny.
Never mind.
But what do you think about this? We're inviting your comments, and if you think we're off base, and it should be all right to anonymously drop a dime or a quarter, as it were, on someone because they're not practicing social distancing, they're not wearing their mask, they're not spacing tables at least 6 feet apart, they're going to more than 50% capacity in their business, whatever it is that's got you. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Have you ever done Jersey Mike subs?
No, but they look great on the commercials.
Man, would I love to get those people as a sponsor just for the free subs. They really are tremendous.
Little trade out, huh?
But I walked into Jersey Mike's yesterday and ran into our friend Richard Sprinkle, met his lovely wife. But
That poor guy's parents must have hated him. His name is Dick Sprinkle.
what are you going to do? He's a brilliant attorney.
Yeah.
But also, a person right behind me walking in the door commented immediately, well, there's no social distancing in here. It was 12:05 on a weekday.
It will be if you take your ass outside.
Well, it was 12:05 on a weekday. I mean, it's lunchtime. People want to get a sandwich. And this person, it was a woman, and she did. She turned her butt around and just decided to go someplace else. And me and another person, where somebody was getting a drink, said, well, good luck finding a place to eat at this hour. But yeah, there was hardly any room to stand in line and wait to be waited on.
Jersey Mike's didn't have the marks on the floor?
Yeah, they got marks on the floor, but they also had more customers than they had marks. You know what I'm saying? So we were all doing our best, but about the best anybody could do was about 3.5 feet away from the next person. But yeah, somebody walked in and the lady got all flustered because there was no social distancing going on in here. And of course, the staff behind the counter, they can't social distance.
Let me ask you a little bit about her. Let's talk about her body mass and how she looked. Was she a large woman?
No.
So she could handle the cholesterol load from Jersey Mike's.
There's not a lot of cholesterol in Jersey Mike's. It's
It's all processed meat.
It's all freshly cut deli meats. Yum, yum, yum. And of course, if you ask, they'll give you mayo. But if you get it their way, you get it with oil and vinegar, like a sub sandwich should be.
Yeah, but she didn't look like she didn't look like a skinny from Ethiopia.
She was a completely. I'm sorry, I don't mean you any insult when I say this, ma'am. If you're on the off chance that she's watching, she was a completely nondescript, plain Jane Harriet housewife, 40-something.
Well, she should have gotten in there and mingled.
And I say Harriet housewife because she definitely did not look like she was dressed for work.
Maybe have a social life.
Okay. And she was wearing a mask. Of course, wearing a mask. Wearing a mask. Got to wear a mask. But we're getting off topic.
Well, but that does speak to the topic. I from the very beginning, I understand that you get data on something like this over time and things change. And that we all have to be responsible for our own health in a lot of ways. And there are a lot of people that want to do things that are more proactive. I get that. But at the same time, I don't see how an anonymous tip line, where they will dispatch people, by the way, to go check it out,
Oh, yeah.
serves a practical purpose. They are probably going to send somebody from either the police department or the state fire marshal's offices.
Is there a parish health department, or
There is a parish health department. Every parish has to have one.
We have a health unit, yeah.
Yeah.
Florida, up on Florida Street, yeah. in
But-
Baton Rouge.
Again, resources that are already strained because of this. And it could be somebody that just is pranking somebody, or like that woman. She walked in the door and she said, "No social distancing in here," without fully sizing up the
The
situation.
reason I brought her up is because she fits the profile of the person that would use the anonymous tip line.
Yeah, I mean,
And if I go to get a Jersey Mike subs and their door is closed on a weekday later this week, I'll be like, "Thank you, Karen, for calling the anonymous tip line."
well, here's
These
a good,
guys are just trying to make a buck.
here's a good response. This is from someone named Phyllis Joe. I don't know Phyllis Joe. It just popped up, and I think this shows a wonderful sense of talent and humor. I called that number and told them that I won't report anyone.
Okay.
But this should strike most. I will tell you, there's no middle ground on this. Most people are going to say, "Bill, why are you dogging this line? We're all just trying to help. We're just trying to be safe. It's not a bad idea." And there are other people who are going to say, anonymous tip lines are never a good idea. Now, you mentioned Crime Stoppers. Now, the difference with Crime Stoppers and something like this is that Crime Stoppers gives you a name of a wanted fugitive who has either committed a crime and they've ID'd them through photos or fingerprints or DNA.
And you merely help them make an apprehension.
Yeah. And the reason it's anonymous is because they are worried about witnesses perhaps being targeted once an arrest is made by this criminal or their associates, which, as we've seen in this community and a great many others, is a very real thing. This is not the same thing as Crime Stoppers. This is, at its minimum, is Gladys Kravitz busybodying. At its maximum, it's a great way to interfere with a competitor's business.
Kids, Gladys Kravitz was a character on an old TV show called Bewitched that was on when me and Bill were youngins.
She was what they called a busybody. A busybody,
She was always
kids.
peeking out the window at what the neighbors were doing. Always.
A busybody is someone who likes to involve themselves in other people's business.
Speaking of other people's business, let's do some. We're going to take a commercial break here.
All righty.
Please pay attention to the ads that you see and respond to the messages therein. Did you like that?
I did.
Exiles will be right back.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here. Some big changes are coming to the Pelican and Cox Cable. July 15th, our numbers are changing. We're easier to find and we're in high def. New Orleans, Gramercy, Lutcher, Acadiana, Patterson, Baton Rouge, new numbers coming and a brand new signal. It all happens July 15th on Cox Cable. Do your buddy Clarence a favor, will you? Get all the details by checking your local guide.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back, Exiles TV. Glad to have you with us. 225-831-1029 is our number. We are talking about, remember that great show about the army in Africa called the Rat Patrol?
The Rat Patrol.
We apparently are...
One season and it lives on forever.
Yes, indeed. We are investing heavily in creating a Louisiana Rat Patrol for COVID.
Yeah, in case you're just joining us, the mayor and president of East Baton Rouge Parish, mayor of the city, president of the parish, Sharon Weston Broom, has put into place an anonymous tip line where one may call and report businesses that are not in compliance with the regulations of Phase 2.
Or that you feel are not in compliance.
Yeah,
it's purely subjective.
Because, you know, we wouldn't want you to not feel safe. My problem is not the tip line itself. My problem is the anonymous. I don't like the idea of anybody being able to call in and basically plant a bomb in my business of a threatened closure, because if you're not in compliance, the health department can shut you down. I don't like the idea of that being done based on an anonymous tip.
My coffee on Friday at La Divina was rather tepid.
What's that number?
Let's turn Lance in.
What's that number?
And see what happens.
I don't like an anonymous tip line. An anonymous tip line encourages people to be rats. And it also, as Bill pointed out in an earlier segment, it's just too easy to troll it when you're anonymous. I mean, what's to stop somebody from just deciding that, okay, let's take an example. Let's say that a certain group that's protesting for equal rights decides that a business is not friendly to their group, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All they got to do is everybody call the tip line. Everybody. Call the tip line, and if they get 600 tips saying they're out of compliance, next thing you know, they'll be shut down. And they'll pay for not towing the line, not being down when the struggles.
It's just too easy.
It's just too easy for an anonymous tip line to be abused. We're asking your opinion on it. Do you think we're wrong? You know, would you phone in such a tip? And if you phoned in a tip, would you volunteer your name, your information?
It's very, very active in Baton Rouge. The mayor-president posted a graphic. Showed you how to do it. Is it that active in Orleans Parish?
I don't
Jefferson?
know. I am amazed if Mayor Cantrell in New Orleans has not put such a thing into position. I am amazed, because she tends to be out front of Sharon Weston Broom with the to hell with the law, to hell with the Constitution, to hell with your rights. We're just going to do things my way.
Well, you have to also assume that a lot of people who still live there can actually read. So
stop that.
That might tamp it down a little bit.
Stop that. Still plenty of people who read really good. Really good.
They go to the library.
That's well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the status is in Orleans. Perhaps you're in Orleans. 225-831-1029. Do they have a tip line in effect? And is it an anonymous tip line? I just think that you should, if you're accused of a crime, you get to have your day in court and you get to face your accuser.
Well, and you also, if you are doing business and you are trying to get back to business, and you've been struggling. Most businesses have been struggling during this.
Yeah.
And perhaps you have one too many people Somebody looks around and they think it's one too many people. If they feel that it's their civic responsibility to call, then whoever goes should go in and say, look, you had a customer in here. Her name was, Brandy Alexander.
I love a good Brandy Alexander.
Yeah, and she was worried that you had too many folks here. Tell me what's been going on. And they do it very, very quietly, and you know who made the call. Then, if she turns out to be a crank, and she starts making calls everywhere she goes, then the people who are manning the line say, we are not going to use resources. We are not going to send people. This woman is obviously trying to mess with folks.
Mm-hmm. Now, in New York City, they did this. The mayor de Blasio did this, but his tip line was not only a telephone thing, it was also a website where you could post your text message and or a photograph of the violation. So you could take a picture on your phone, attach it to the message, bing, bang, boom, they could see. Wow, you could plainly see nobody's wearing gloves, nobody's wearing masks, that sort of thing. What they got in the first 2 weeks was inundated with pictures of male anatomy.
But you know what? That might have been proactive, because if you've seen him on television, he clearly doesn't have any.
That much is true.
Yeah.
But and this is in New York. Now, New York City is the bluest of the blue in the middle of a very blue state. And even in New York City, there were enough people that thought that an anonymous tip line or an anonymous tipping system was BS. And they decided to exploit it and inundate it with nonsense. I don't know if this is only telephone messages, I don't know what Mayor Broom can expect.
We've got a website you can go to.
You can go to a website.
Yeah, what is it, BRLA?
Excuse me, I got to go take a picture.
Yeah, BRLA.gov/coronavirus. You're going to need a bigger camera.
Thanks. Thank you.
But there were so many people that were bothered by so many things that were actually reasonable. I can't believe that people are not bothered by this anonymous tip line thing. I'll give you, and here is something that we've needed since day one. I think we all know that people who have controllable mental illness and problems have not been seen by their doctors up until maybe 10 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all know that PTSD patients have been suffering because they are not being seen.
Right.
I think we all know that, unfortunately, domestic abuse and child abuse has risen because everybody's been cooped up, right? So they launched a behavioral health outreach line. This is not a crisis line. This is, you can call this and you can say, look, I've got depression and I've not seen my doctor in 75 days, and they say, how can we help you? Which do you think is getting more calls today, June 30th, 2020? Which do you think is getting more calls? And which, by the way, went up first? Now, am I the only one that's bothered by that?
Well, apparently not a lot of people are bothered by that, Bill. What I'm wondering about is we seem to be in a situation where we have a percentage of us that question authority, and always have, and those of us that just say, do what they tell you to do. I had not a woman, I had a male friend of mine on Facebook the other day. He said, just do what they tell you to do and the whole thing will be over faster. It's like, well, that's one school of thought. The other school of thought is if you just do what they tell you to do, then they'll keep telling you to do it. And then they'll tell you to do something else. And it'll always be for your own safety, for your own good, because who doesn't want public safety?
Well, I mean, it's the way it always is. It used to be the speed limit on I-49 was 65.
Now it's 75.
Now it's 75. The original, remember, it said it's such a long, boring road. We can't really go 70 like other interstates there because there's a danger that people will just get lulled into kind of a narcoleptic state. Now, you can do it at 75.
So what, at 75, you're more scared of the speed and you're more alert?
No, it just, people work with assumptions and incomplete data, and people feel like they have to put their name on something. I was listening to something today because I do really like listening to things like this. And it was talking about junk science, manipulation, and real science. And the people who were talking about this were talking about you really don't hear too much from the real scientists, because when you do, they'll tell you, we still don't know, it's still evolving. But the junk scientists
will speak in absolutes.
And they'll speak in absolutes, and they'll do it every single day, and they'll tell you how everything is wrong.
Like that jackass Dr. Fauci that we keep seeing every day. I'm pointing at a monitor where
he doesn't say everything is wrong.
Or Fox News.
He doesn't say everything is wrong with what they're telling you. I think his remarks are very well measured.
I think he's rarely right.
But here's the deal. How is it even possible for all of these people in medical centers all over the world, the best medical centers in this country, to be working on things and that they all be wrong? Quite frankly, it isn't. If there is, then we ought to close down all the universities where they studied and start all over again. It's not possible for them all to be wrong. So if you go to the middle and you try to do your best, and if you say, I don't want to wear a mask, as long as you don't get within 6 feet of people when you're in a public place, there's nothing wrong with that.
Thank you. This is what I have been trying to argue with people. It's like if the command were wear a mask if you're sick, if you're coughing, if you're sneezing, wear a mask. If you're phlegmy, wear a mask. If you're healthy, there's no need to wear a mask.
Well, and the thing
Just
is,
keep your distance from people.
The best thing that we've done in all this is keep our distance, wash our hands a whole lot more. I have noticed.
That's the best thing you can do.
I have noticed, by the way, with all the washing my hands that I'm doing, my seasonal allergies have not reappeared this year.
Isn't that interesting?
It is. Because this time of year, I would be sneezing every 20 seconds.
And this time of year, I rely on Sinex to get me through the day.
But the point is, I heard a really good ER doctor who is just a really good doc. And he says, look, the big thing for wearing a mask in public is you are showing the other people that you are communing with that you are no danger to them. And if it makes them feel better and it makes you feel better, there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm also showing that by keeping my friggin' distance.
Well, but he's saying if you're in a situation where you can't keep your distance. He's talking about, it's just like, when you go to the bank to borrow money, you always put on a tie. It doesn't change your paperwork, but you put on a tie.
All right, another quick break. We're going to take care of some business. And Exiles TV will be right back.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
We're back. It's Exiles TV. Bill Profita over there, Kevin Gallagher over here. Amazing. I thought more people would want to get in on this conversation of the anonymous snitch line.
Maybe they're afraid they'll
get snitched on. Yeah, I don't know. But what worries me is in Germany in the late 1930s, they asked you to tip somebody off if your neighbor was Jewish and passing for Christian. And a lot of people did that because they said it was for the Jews' own safety, and so people cooperated, and then they started rounding people up and saying, "Look, it's not safe for you here, so we need you to get on the boxcars, and we're going to take you someplace where you're safe." Now that's an extreme thing, but I'm saying question authority always.
Well, and again,
always,
if you can't point out the person who pointed you out, it is a terribly flawed system.
It's not well thought out, let's put it that way. And my issue, just one more thing, and I guess I'm going to pick on the mayor a little bit. It's things not being well thought out has kind of been the hallmark of this mayor's 4 years in office. One of the first things, her first 100 days in office were wrought with problems. One of the first things she did was she hired a chief administrative officer that it turned out that his resume was complete bunk, complete trash. And she said he came from a national vetting process. He didn't come from a national vetting process. He came from a national vetting process that only looked for candidates that matched a certain description. And it turned out he was a con man.
It was a minority search firm,
and it wasn't a national search firm to find the best person for the job. It was to find the best minority person for the job, and her administration couldn't even do that. So what we had, and he actually was on the job for a short period of time. We had a guy on the job that was a complete fraud, And for a time, he had his hands on the city parish, fisc, the taxpayer money. Oops, sorry, she got rid of him and moved on and hired Daryl Gissel, who was a great decision on her part. But let's just say things not being entirely thought through is something that she comes under fire for from time to time. So I just think that this anonymous tip line is bad news. It's a bad thing.
Well, speaking of things not being terribly well thought out, the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board is, they are getting in deep in this controversy over Connie
Sweet
Bernard.
Connie.
So,
Connie Bernard, I'm going to give those of you outside of Baton Rouge the update. Connie Bernard has been a member of the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board for a number of years. She was the vice president of the school board for a time. She ran into some trouble a couple of years back when she decided to crash a house party in her neighborhood. Kids were having a party. Hey, kids having a party. Well, she went with...
And we're not talking 7 and 8-year-olds. We're talking about big, hunky.
She went with
18 and 19-year-olds.
This thing rolling video, hoping to bust him with it, but it just made her look bad.
Well, she grabbed a kid around his neck and she let loose some
cussing and swearing and
big expletives.
Seemed kind of obvious that she herself had some adult beverages, and it didn't look good for her. And she had to step down as the vice president of the school board.
The kids called the cops on Connie.
Yeah, because
she was trespassing.
She wasn't invited. She remained when she was asked to leave.
And she grabbed one of the kids around the neck, grabbed the kid's phone, and so there are still charges from that little peccadillo.
So flash forward to recent school board meeting where they're meeting, and the topic is, should Lehigh in Baton Rouge have a new name? This came up a couple years ago. It used to be Robert E. Lehigh. A couple of years ago, they voted just to make it Lehigh. No mention of Robert E. Lee whatsoever. It was Lehigh, and if you chose to believe it, the reason it was Lehigh is because it was on Lee Drive. Makes perfect sense to me.
Well, but I mean, they had their mascot back then was a caricatured rebel, officer. I mean, I can see how that had outlived its usefulness.
It harkened back to the dark old days of the Confederacy, and I understand the sentiments of some people who wanted to do away with it. Well, during much more than 1 hour, wasn't it? The meeting itself lasted almost 8. But for more than an hour, while people were, getting up and during the public speaking and voicing their disdain for the name Robert E. Lee and the history and blah, 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 Ms. Bernard was apparently shopping online for clothing.
Checked out.
Now, she voted to rename Lehigh.
Yep.
But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that she voted the way that they wanted her to vote. What mattered was that she wasn't paying attention during all the whining.
Well,
is that harsh of me?
Well, and a couple weeks before.
Sometimes even when people are right about something, I just don't want to hear them whine about it. Make a good case.
And a week before, when they were opening the discussion, she said, informationally, before you consider this, you need to really learn something about Robert E. Lee.
That was the sin.
And she pointed out that the plantation, which I believe is where Arlington National Cemetery sits, he inherited that. And when he took the plantation, he immediately set about freeing his slaves that he inherited as well. Imagine that. You could inherit people. God.
Yeah, horrible.
Yeah, and finding them jobs as free men and women for which they would be paid. And she just wanted people to be aware about that this guy, while he led the Confederacy as a general, was not an evil person who wanted to subjugate blacks. And that was all she wanted. Well, yeah, that's a sin to put that information forward.
Well, yes, because you can't defend anybody that was a member of the Confederacy. You just simply cannot do that.
So anyway, here's what bothers me. Now, Kevin, you actually did up front, in your face, hardcore news reporting.
For a little while, yeah.
Yeah, I've never done that.
For about 7 years.
Channel 9, WAFB here in Baton Rouge, put together a public records request for the search history on Connie Bernard's computer.
Yep. It was all over the morning news this morning.
And they found that she was online shopping a lot. Now, was that her personal computer or a computer issued by the school board.
Well, I don't know if you can get a public records request for a personal computer.
Yeah, because how could those be public records?
Of course, it could be a public records request for what went through the Wi-Fi at the school board office.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was her personal computer, but if she was accessing the Wi-Fi at the school board office, then that would be a matter of a public record.
I think this is straining.
She was on a ladies' fashion website for quite some time.
But I think this is straining on a gnat. She knew what the vote was going to be. She knew where the discussion was going to go.
And she wasn't interested in it.
And she knew how she was going to vote.
It's like blah, blah, blah. Yes, you have my yes vote. Let's get to it.
Now, I sit on a commission. There's no requirement in the commissioner's handbook, which
Did
is...
you pay rapt attention to everyone who's talking in public before that commission?
That's right. Now, you probably should, but this is an example of people that are out to get someone simply because they can. She's an easy target. She's white.
Yep.
And she's also term limited.
Yep.
Her term expires at the end of next year. Now, I also find it very disingenuous that they didn't do a public record search on any other school board member's computer to see if during school board meetings they were looking at something that wasn't on the agenda.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something.
Because that doesn't fit their agenda.
Let me tell you something. If you, and I know you don't generally like my arguments of equivalency. I bring up another similar situation. And you sometimes will point out, well, that really has nothing to do with this. But it's in some cases, it's comparable. During the Trump impeachment hearings, one of our Louisiana delegation was watching golf on his on his laptop in the committee room during the testimony that could have unseated a U.S. president. He was not interested in the process. He knew what his vote was going to be at the end. So why should he pay rapt attention to what's going on in the room? This is very similar, in my opinion, to what Ms. Bernard was doing.
Mm-hmm.
You got my vote on the Lehigh thing. Do I really have to sit here and listen to every word of this? Because basically, if you were at that meeting, you know that 4 or 5 people got up and said the same crap. Oh, I'm sorry, made the same argument over and over and over again. I would hate to be on one of these commissions. I would hate it.
The thing that bothers me more than anything else is if you're going to do the time and take the time to do a public records request for somebody's computer, there are 12 members of that board.
Right.
They're all embroiled in the same argument. Yeah. Were you paying attention only to Connie Bernard to point that she wasn't paying attention?
She's the controversial figure.
Why didn't you do the record search for all of them?
Good question.
And then, if you're right, you can say the only one who was doing something else on their computer at the time of this important discussion was Member Bernard.
You know, I never thought I would say this, especially not in a live venue, because, we've got a history with Channel 9.
Yes.
We have a lot of friends over at Channel 9
we do.
In Baton Rouge. We know there's people at Channel 9 that Bill and I have known for years and years and years. But it seems to me here lately that Channel 9 is more interested in being on the, quote, right side of things than they are in reporting the facts and reporting fairly and honestly. I'm just going to leave that right there for a second because I can't believe I just said it out loud on the air. My friends at Channel 9 will be furious with me when they hear about it.
Well, again, it's fair to report what they found. They didn't color it in any way. But is there
They
a reason?
only checked on Connie, though.
Yeah.
They only checked on the one person. And that, to me, is a failure to do a thorough public records request. Well, let's see what everybody else on the school board was watching on their
What's
computer.
the point of a public records request?
To get to the truth.
Well, shouldn't you have examined everybody in the same meeting at the same time?
All right. We have to take another quick break, our last one of the hour. In our next hour, we're going to talk with Congressman Garrett Graves. Now, he is in Washington doing his job, but he's going to hook up with us via FaceTime.
He's going to be on the electronic box.
Yep, so we're going to do a FaceTime with him in our next hour. Right now, quick break. We'll be right back.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For Total Pest Control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, we're back. It's Exiles TV. We received news just a short while ago during this broadcast hour of the change of status of one of our colleagues in broadcasting, and I got to tell you, Bill, it's sad news.
Yeah, Carl Groton has been laid off from Guarantee Media. Carl Groton, even though he had a full-time career with DOTD, he had a very long part-time career in radio. And he was the *1 utility infielder, I guess.
Carl was that guy. He's not dead. They just let him go. Mm-hmm. And I can't imagine why, but we won't get into that. But Carl was that guy that would always be there, any station, any shift, any job. Mostly he was a board operator, and he was good at it.
He was Clarence Buggs' producer for many years.
Clarence Buggs Show. If you're a fan of Clarence Buggs, you may remember Clarence referring to him by name or calling him the Galactic One, which I thought was funny. But Carl was that kind of guy that was always there, and he always says yes, and all he ever wants to do is make a positive contribution.
And like I said, he was the #1 utility infielder at Guarantee. He was there for 18 years.
It's a long time.
Before that, I believe he had been with Citadel as a part-timer.
And Guarantee again before that.
And Guarantee before that.
If you stack up all of his years with Guarantee Media, probably close to 25 years or more with Guarantee Media. Carl was just that guy you could always rely on.
When there was a hurricane going on, and Kevin and I are out reporting, one of us in the field, one of us in the studio, and we got National Weather Service, or we got a congressman on, or FEMA, and something needs to go to be digitally recorded and edited and put on all the other stations, Carl was the guy.
Carl was the guy. Carl also, in his personal life, is a dog breeder. Well, not a dog breeder. He doesn't like breed puppies, but he's a dog shower. He has purebred dogs, and a couple of them have taken some championships.
Oh yeah, he goes to Westminster, not Westminster, the AKC New York Kennel Club.
Competed in many, both state and regional dog shows, and was our go-to guy when like Eukanuba or Westminster was coming up, and we, because that's something a lot of people watch, and we were aware of that with our radio show. We'd bring Carl on to talk about the ins and the outs of being a dog show person and what's involved in that.
But he really he was a great guy to work with. Carl did very, very well professionally, and Carl didn't need the money. He didn't work part-time to full-time to part-time again. He did it because
he did it for love and fellowship.
He loved being in radio. And, now we would butt heads every now and then. Carl would always be pouring out that last cup of coffee from the coffee pot as I'm walking around the corner with my cup. And it's, Carl, and he didn't even drink coffee. He was like, you don't drink it, you don't touch it, I'll get it. But he drove me in Mardi Gras parades for the station.
But see, on the same token, what Carl did was he made an active contribution in keeping our workplace clean and tidy, which a lot of our coworkers at Guarantee Media did not care if they'd left a mess behind. That was someone else's mess to clean.
Total time in broadcasting, Carl apparently watches our show. Total time in broadcasting, 32 years.
Yep. Carl, you've earned the right to step down and never have to worry about radio broadcasting again another day in your life, my friend.
I hope at least they gave you some sort of a send-off. Because, when you do it every day, you kind of sometimes take for granted the people that are doing it half a day or every other day. It's not until you need something and you go, Carl! And yeah, what do you need?
I guarantee you that day's going to come sooner than later, where they're going to be, wow, if Carl was here, he would have taken care of it. If Carl was here, he would have not let this happen. They're going to experience, I guarantee they will experience that. I don't know what the reason was, and I understand that, look, Bill and I understand, these are tough times for broadcasting right now. It's a tough time. Broadcasting relies on advertisers, and advertisers rely on businesses being open and open in a confident, cash-making posture. So I don't know what's going on at Guarantee. I don't know what prompted the decision, but I'm not going to second-guess them. But Carl, it's their loss.
Well,
it's their loss.
Carl always, everybody who worked there had some point in their career where Carl was the helping hand they needed in an emergency.
Absolutely.
And I think that
he's not dead. He's alive and well.
And again,
just another exile.
I think every time broadcasting loses somebody that's had a lot of service, somebody that never said no.
I think it diminishes the overall state of broadcasting in our city.
Well, and the thing is, I'm sorry to feel this way about it, but in a lot of venues, they're being replaced by young kids that don't know the business as well, that come into the job without what you and I call wisdom.
Or a conscience.
Yeah, and it's harder for them to gel with the people that do it every day.
So, Carl Groton, we salute you, buddy.
Well, we will see you again, Carl. That's for sure. We got top of the hour break coming up. We will be back on the other side. A little more of you and Kevin and me, and then Congressman Garrett Graves.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi gang, Clarence Bugs here. Cox Cable is upgrading the signal from the Pelican, but to catch us, you're going to have to tune in now to a new number. Acadiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Gramercy, Lutcher. Check your guide for details.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us this morning. Kind of recapping some of the current events as we have a little time this
Bill,
morning.
I'm curious what you think about the couple in St. Louis that defended their property with loaded weapons. They had Antifa, BLM, who knows,
the
BLT.
The lady of the house. It's a good thing she didn't need to fire, because she's holding this big hog leg revolver, which is way too big for her. And she's holding it like this.
No. You didn't see that photo? You look that photo up again. That's a little dinky ass.
Oh, is it?
Nickel steel something.
She's still holding it
I'd be
like
amazed
this.
if that's a 32.
And she's liable to hit the cat. Now, the guy was in the proper position. I don't have a problem
I noticed
at all.
that hubby was very careful. He was holding the AR-15. He had his finger not on the trigger, but near the trigger. They defended their home with their weapons, and I say God bless them. That's the American way.
Well, I mean, the best way to look at this is in light of what happened. They live in the same subdivision as the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
It is a gated subdivision, much like Country Club of Louisiana, which means all the streets, all the sidewalks are private property. In other words, you can't say, I want to hold a demonstration at Country Club of Louisiana tomorrow. They will not let you hold a demonstration at Country Club of Louisiana because the people who own the houses also own the streets and the sidewalks.
It's a gated community.
Yeah.
It's not public property.
And so apparently these people that were protesting were very upset that the mayor had the audacity to read aloud the names and addresses of everyone who had thus far signed the petition to defund the police department in St. Louis. As she put it, you have a right to know which of your neighbors,
I agree.
And it's public record anyway.
You have a right to know who is saying, you don't get police protection anymore.
So They were upset about that, so they snuck in to what is basically a maintenance entrance to that subdivision.
Right.
Well, these people, and by the way, they weren't the only ones. They were the only ones caught on camera.
Now, this couple actually had a locked gate to enter their own individual yard and property, and they just crashed the gate.
And they went through it.
I mean, they tore it off its hinges.
Yeah. So they came out with weapons and said, not another step further. And it is their right to do that. You can certainly, when you have a mob that tears your gate off its hinges, you can certainly claim fear for your safety. They would have been justified in shooting anybody that came any closer.
Castle doctrine, I believe, is what we call it.
Well, it doesn't even have to have castle doctrine. Fear of your life or safety works, even without castle doctrine.
Here you got a bunch of unwashed 20-somethings that have stormed through the gate of your home in your gated community, and you're not. And there's actually talk about prosecuting these people for threatening, fourth-degree threatening with a firearm.
Oh, I hope they prosecute
I hope they do
them.
try to prosecute them, because I think the city is going to get behind them in a big way. What we're not seeing is we're not seeing enough prosecutions of these young animals.
Well, I bet you they
just think that whatever they want to do is going to be okay.
I'll bet you they have security cameras, and I'll bet you they can identify, or at least seek to identify, the people who tore the gates off the hinges. Are they going to prosecute them?
They should.
Yeah, they should.
And I hope they will. It bothers me, Bill, that we are seeing almost apologists for the protesters. First of all, we're not allowed. If you watch your news media and it goes right down to the locals, they don't call them rioters. They call them protesters. They left protesting behind 2 weeks ago. They're rioters. They are an anarchic mob that's only seeking to destroy things.
The minute they break a window, the minute they get into private property, the minute they start a fire, it's a riot. It's not a protest.
And I'm sorry, this is going to be, God help me if I'm in traffic and people decide they're going to block traffic, especially if I'm first in line, because I will go forward. I will. I might try to do it slowly or in bursts, as that one, you've seen the video of the one cop where they're on the hood of his vehicle. So he shoots forward about 6-8 yards and then spikes the brake and flushes them off the hood of the vehicle. And as they roll to the side, it looked like he saw the opportunity to not run anybody over, and he punched it and just got the hell out of Dodge. That would be me.
Did you see?
You are not going to block traffic.
Did you see the one with the private citizen? He's in a medium-sized SUV, and this one protester gets in front of him. And the guy is inching up, figuring the guy's going to get the idea and get out of the way. So the guy doesn't get out of the way. The guy gets on the hood of his car. So the guy accelerates and stops and shakes the guy off. And you can see him yelling, "Get away from my car." The guy reaches up and pulls a piece of trim off the side of the car and bangs the window with it. This guy got out.
Beat the living
This
crap
guy,
out of it.
I mean, he just clocked the you-know-what
It's actually,
out of him.
I'm sorry if I'm wrong about this, but it's actually kind of gratifying to watch this man rain blows on this individual for about 10 straight seconds.
And this guy, he was man Mountain Dean. And you can tell he knew how to throw a punch. Because I think he only hit him 3 times, but the guy ended up crumpled on the street. And at the end of the video, the guy tries to hand him back the piece of trim that he tore off the car, and the guy grabs it out of his hand and kicks him. And it's like, come and get me. This guy asked for it, he got it. And, I am sorry. I understand why people are upset. I am upset, too, over what happened in Minneapolis.
They don't care about what happened in Minneapolis. They just want to get out and hit the streets.
Yeah, but that's the point. I am upset too. But you can't lose control of your movement, and I think it may be too late for that. I saw a very articulate, very nice, very thoughtful lady saying, "I don't want you here. You all are hijacking a very important discussion, and people are missing the point because of the way you all are acting."
Right.
And I agreed with her 100%. But the thing is, I don't care how upset you are. You cannot damage public or private property and think that it is your right to do so. While I may agree that there is some statuary that is blatantly offensive and certainly carries a racist message, you still can't on your own tear it down. You want the system to help you. I do too. You want the system to embrace your rights fully. I do too. Use the system to take that statue down. Go after it in a logical, fair and square way, because the minute you start tearing things down, you give every racist redneck on earth the right to accuse you of being a criminal. You can't do it that way. You shouldn't do it that way.
I'm going to give, before we go to break, I'm just going to say this real quick. I want to give big propers to that couple who I understand are good left-leaning Democrats. They support the DNC. They support Black Lives Matter. They just didn't want their house trashed by a bunch of riffraff. They exercised their Second Amendment rights, and they did so with restraint, and nobody was hurt. God bless them. Another couple might have just opened fire.
Time for us to take a break. We'll be back in a moment on Exiles TV. Stick around.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
With Exiles TV, Bill Profita over yonder. I'm Kevin Gallagher. I think that a number of Americans are showing restraint, but yet the way it's when someone does lose their temper, it doesn't help that the media again wants to paint these anarchists as poor protesters. And look, the right-wing Republicans are using their cars as vehicles against the protesters. Nobody ordered the protester. Well, somebody probably did order the protesters, but nobody made them go stand in the road.
Well,
you know, I was always taught, crazy me, I was always taught you stand in the road, somebody's going to run you over. That's what happens when you stand in the road. You get run over. But yet, all of a sudden, people think it's okay to go stand in the road. That's the way to get what they want, is block a highway. Marty showed me something during the break, Bill.
Did he take his pants off again?
No, not again.
Oh, okay, good.
No, but it was somebody that managed to get some good images of some of the protesters. If these are just grassroots protests that are rising up out of the outraged American people, then why do we see pictures of guys with earpieces? They're wearing the mask. He's got, wool hat pulled down as far over his eyes as he can, wearing the mask to completely cover his face. But there you can plainly see he's got an earpiece. He's got an IFB.
Communication is key in anything.
Yeah, but with whom?
Does it matter?
Shot callers is what.
Or it could be undercover cops.
Maybe.
But none of that matters. I
It does matter because don't try to sell America on the fact that these are grassroots American citizens. These are organized protests. These are protests. We've seen ads.
Has anybody denied that they're organized?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, the media denies it by not saying it.
Well, now that's a real stretch. Thing is,
I know it's a stretch, but there it is. It's when you're watching the nightly news, it's important. It's as important what they're not saying as what they are saying.
I don't care if they have a Motorola 5G 900 megahertz walkie-talkie system that is hooked up to all 700 of them. I don't give a damn about that. What I care about is what they do when they're in that street. And if they're marching peacefully in the street or on the sidewalk, I'm okay.
If they're in the
minute they
street,
start swinging or breaking, I'm not okay. And I don't care how well they communicate with each other or not.
if they're in the street at all and they don't have a parade permit, then they should get the hell out of the street because somebody is going to run them over. You and I know a guy that if it happens here in Baton Rouge and he's there, he'll run them over.
Yeah, he wants to. But, talking about the people in the subdivision in St. Louis, it made me think about something that doesn't come to mind very often. Have you ever had to defend yourself or your property with a weapon in your hands?
Never.
I've had to, and it's a scary, scary thing.
Yeah.
It is a scary,
imagine.
scary thing. I don't ever want to do it again. One time, somebody who listened to the radio was trying to attack me personally with a length of pipe, and he brought a length of pipe to a gunfight. And I had to point it at him and tell him one more step, I was going to shoot him in the head. And he dropped the pipe just as the cops were pulling up. Second time was right after Katrina. And a bunch of those refugees from Katrina, some of whom needed a place to stay and looking for work, and some of whom were just there to try to steal, came to my front door, and they didn't think I was home. I was out walking my dog in the back, and she alerted, and so I went to the front, and I see these people peering into the iron work in the front door, and so I said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And they said, "We're looking for work." I said, "This is a residential neighborhood, and
no work here,
there
brother.
is no work here, and you need to leave. It's also posted no soliciting of any kind. You need to leave." Well, instead of saying, "Oh, okay," they got real threatening and real mouthy. And it was scary. And I racked a 12-gauge shotgun and I pointed it right at his head. And I asked him again to leave. And he had a different opinion of whether or not he should leave after that. But it doesn't change the fact that it scared me to death.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have very, very easily.
Who wants to shoot somebody? I don't think any, psychos, but
I could have very easily taken one of their two heads off. And I don't want to have to live like that. And I don't want to have to feel like that. And I don't want to have to face that.
But Bill, here's my question for you. When you watch the nightly news now, do you sometimes worry that is how we're going to live? we're going to, life is going to become like some movie on Saturday night on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Well, I don't worry about it, and here's why. Because of that couple in St. Louis. Because we are not at the push and shove point yet, but when we're at the push and shove point, there's going to be more people like that couple in St. Louis, and they're going to do the calculus out in the street, whether they're organized or disorganized, that you know what, if it comes down to an actual violent battle, we cannot win. These things evolve, and I mean, it's a bad example, but after the Alton Sterling thing, and you had protests for what, 3 or 4 days running?
Mm-hmm. The protests seemed to die down after 3 cops were murdered. Another one was rendered a vegetable for the rest of his life.
They had died down before that. Why? Because they knew they were pushing their luck. And people of goodwill don't keep an open mind indefinitely. This is the whole thing. Don't push him. It will go badly for you. Don't push me. It will go badly for you. Don't push Marty. Don't push Jonathan or Alan in the truck. Don't push any of their neighbors, because eventually it's going to be one push too much, and it's going to go badly for you. You want the system to help you? I do too. Use the system properly. Don't try to mess with the people who still control the system in a violent fashion. You will not win.
We're going to take another brief pause. In just about 9 minutes, we're going to be talking with our Congressman, Garrett Graves, who will be joining us via FaceTime here on Exiles TV. That's coming up. Stay with us.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
State Treasurer John Schroeder, encouraging you to visit latreasury.com to search for your unclaimed property money. During this pandemic, we've returned money to businesses, local governments, and people across Louisiana.
New Orleans Habitat for Humanity found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Treasury.
Audubon Nature Institute has unclaimed property.
I found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Department of Treasury.
We still have over $800 million. This is your money. Claim it.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bugg Show.
Yeah.
I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you with us on this Tuesday. Oh, you did the glasses thing.
Well, usually I do that for dramatic effect when I'm about to make a point, but I was just taking.
I wore mine on the air for the first time ever today because that print on my screen was kind of fine. Normally I don't need them too often, but
I did the Robert Stack thing to my wife Mary Ann the other day. Cracked her up. I had a smaller pair of reading glasses on underneath my reading glasses. And I walked in, I took them off dramatically. That's why I love her. 33 years in, she still laughs at my stuff.
Yeah. As a friend, female friend of Karen's, once said when she realized, she said, "You're married to Bill Profita?" And Karen said, "Yes." This was a number of years ago.
Ew, what's that like?
And she said, "You must laugh all the time." And I said, "So could you contain your look of pure disdain for this woman?" And Karen said, "Yeah, only because I just met her."
Mary Ann had someone ask her one time, "So you're married to Kevin, the guy on the radio?" And she said, "Yeah." So it's for about 20 years at the time. And she said, "So do you need to bother loving him at all, or does he love himself enough for both of you?"
Whoa, that was harsh.
I was a younger man then.
That was harsh.
I was a younger man then, and perhaps my on-air persona was
wow,
a little rough around the edges. I don't know.
That was harsh. That was very, very harsh.
I know, but we took it in the spirit in which
they
it was
were
intended.
dissing you big time.
But it was funny.
I mean, it's not like you're.
I was standing right there and I laughed. I thought it was funny.
It's not like you're Connie Bernard.
You know what they say, Bill? If you cannot learn to laugh at yourself, make fun of other people.
Yeah,
that's
always worked for me. It has always worked for me.
This just in, I was checking in with some news sources and things. In New York City, the 9/11 memorial has been defaced with graffiti and just paint thrown at it.
What does it say? Or they just made a mess?
They just made a mess out of it. As far as the graffiti, it's like most of the time you can't read the graffiti anyway, But it's like when they start with the spray can, they don't think about how much room do I have to write this word.
Yeah.
So you wind up with BLA, and then you come down CK. It's like, oops, ran out of space. What does it matter? I don't care whose lives matter. You're defacing public property. Please. Find a better way to channel your anger.
What do they have against the people who are being memorialized in that?
Because, Bill, haven't you noticed, it just seems to be, now it's open season on any kind of established monument, memorial plaques that have absolutely nothing to do with racial injustice or anything of that nature are being defaced just because they're a part of the America that was, and they're not part of the America that we want to make, the young, idealistic morons who need a shower. It's like that movie Rebel Without a Cause, where the guy asked James Dean, "So you're a rebel, huh? What are you rebelling against?" And he says, "What do you got?"
Yeah.
They don't know. Well, they're doing what they're doing because everybody's doing it. This is the summer of burn crap.
Here's what I think a lot of these folks, because I know that most of them are a lot younger than I am, which means that most of them were not educated in the same way I was. And there's good and bad in that as well. But, you know, when they say the America I want to make, you don't make America. America just happens. America is like a great big pot of pasta on the stove with about 2 inches too much water in it. And it boils out and it becomes what it becomes. Now, what you can do along the way is participate. Maybe you'll be the one to put the spoon over the edge to keep it from boiling over quite so much.
Maybe you pour a little olive oil in there.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're young and idealistic and you think you're important. And you know what?
You're not.
You're not.
You're not.
You don't have any money. You don't have any
You're so
influence.
not important. Maybe you will be someday, but only if you stop this nonsense and get serious about life.
You want to be important? Get out there and actually do something constructive. Get some wisdom. Learn something.
You know, Margaret Thatcher, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm very bad at remembering quotes exactly as said, but Margaret Thatcher said, "The facts of life are conservative." Those are the facts of life are conservative. And the older people get, and the more they actually have to deal with the facts of life, the quicker they come around from liberal to conservative. And the exceptions to this are people who, for one reason or another, either because they're rich and they can live an insulated life, they don't necessarily have to deal with the facts of life so much. So they can cling to that idealism that they enjoyed when they were a child.
Well, and, you know, there are a lot of folks that have gotten very rich in this country and they don't know how, and then they get guilty and they feel like, I don't deserve this. There are people that are starving and you know, I invented a computer program by accident in my college dorm, and now I've got $1 billion. Okay, be guilty. Give. Help. Just do it quietly. Please.
Are you talking about Bill Gates?
No,
I think
would
Bill
never
Gates
talk
feels
about Bill
because he
Gates.
has given so much, and by the way, Bill Gates never gave anybody a dime until he married Melinda Gates. Okay? Never.
You think there's a little quid pro quo there for his quid?
But I think now he feels like I've given so much away. Now everyone needs to start listening to me, and we need to start. We need to start moving towards that beautiful one world government that we're all so desirous
said,
of.
I was the smartest human in the world before Bobby Jindal. I want you all to remember that.
Mm-hmm. Bill Gates, that guy's dangerous. I'm telling you.
You know, the thing is, I am not terribly impressed with younger adults today. I'm being very, very honest. Most of them cannot form a sentence. Most of them cannot name the last 4 presidents.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them like to talk about the Constitution, but can't tell you what the Bill of Rights truly is.
Yeah. Name the first 5. Can you name the first 5?
Or
no.
just what it is. It was the first 10 amendments, you know, to serve people and provide guidance for how you serve in this society. But their parents have coddled them. They've got a wall full of participation trophies, and they go out there and think that people who actually who have worked hard to build things and amass monetary influence and amass some sort of influence and power are really going to listen to them. And what really bothers me is that they are so stupid because they are so full of themselves and so self-centered, that they are so stupid that when somebody looks at them and says, well, Jimmy, I'm glad you brought that to me. We are going to get right on that. Thanks for coming by. Hope we see you again. And that guy's like, who let that kid into my office?
Yeah, we have some lovely parting gifts for you. Here's a T-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get it. You don't get that.
The other thing that bothers me about the youth of America is, as you mentioned, people build up, people acquire, people work all their lives, and now we're just supposed to give it to you. Just give it to us. Whatever you got, give it to us. In St. Louis, when they were marching on the gated community, and you know what they were chanting?
What?
Eat the rich. Eat the rich.
That could be bad for you.
I know they don't mean literally, but what they mean is What we would like is if you don't give us any resistance, we would just like you to step aside and let us have your crap. Because you've enjoyed it long enough, and now it's our turn to have your crap. It's like, that ain't going to happen either.
Never going to happen.
And thank God for the couple. I didn't catch their last name, but the couple with the guns, made me think, what it made me think when I saw it? It's time to buy guns. I know you already got some.
Yes.
It's like, Marianne, we're going to go out, we're going to get some guns.
There's so much that these people just really don't seem to grasp. And the biggest thing is, if you feel like you have a cause, you really need to be able to put your finger on it and enunciate it properly. I grew up in the civil rights protests and in the Vietnam War protests.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people that were at the head of the line, you'd say, why are you out here? And they would say, we should have the right to vote. We should be treated like every other person. They knew. And the anti-war protesters would say, we're losing in an unjust war where we don't need to be there because the ally we were protecting has been deposed from power, and we're just sending people over there to be slaughtered. They knew what their cause was.
What does Antifa know?
How to make a really bad acronym?
Like we just don't like the way things are.
Yeah,
let us have it.
I'm offended by it. It hurts my feelings. I've heard that more time than anything else.
I don't feel safe, Bill. I don't feel safe.
You know what? They're probably the safest people on the planet right now.
Yeah, most of them smell so bad. They're plenty safe. Nobody wants to get near them.
Well, I mean,
I'm being mean.
And I do think that municipalities, large and small, have actually put a protective cordon around these people because they feel that it's the right thing to do, and they're right. Because God knows we don't want people slaughtering these people in the streets, because that just prolongs the agony.
Well, the mayor of Seattle and their Chaz or CHOP or whatever the hell they're calling it now, she said it's time to go home, but nobody is going in there and trying to extricate them. And I think this is the thing to do. Leave them in there and ignore the crap out of them. And I mean on every level you can imagine, ignore the crap out of them. We need power? Sorry. We need food? Sorry. We need running water? Sorry. You don't like the system. You don't want to take part in the system. Enjoy your Chaz.
You've declared yourself to be an independent government.
Cable TV, Wi-Fi? Sorry. That's all part of the system you disdain.
Go out and provide it. You've declared yourself to be an independent government.
Enjoy your autonomous zone.
Go out and provide it.
Bunch of dipsticks. We're expecting a call any moment now from our Congressman Garrett Graves. With that in mind, we're going to take a quick break and be back in a moment on Exiles TV.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back. Along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together. South Louisiana's talk team. And it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. During the break, Kevin and I were saying, who haven't we offended today?
We're trying. If you think of somebody, you can like text us or send us an email. And then
call us up.
We'll get right on that.
There's somebody you'd like us to tee off on. Congressman Garrett Graves is in a vote in the Capitol right now.
We're not going to get him today?
No, we're going to get him. They're as Alexandra, she's great. Said, we're tracking him down now. Hang on.
That's a big building.
Yeah, it's a big building.
It's quite a labyrinth.
Well, and some of these votes, they say, we're going to have this vote at 10:01.
Well, yeah, they call for it at 10:01, but then it's 11:15 before all the...
My sandwich isn't getting here until 10:45.
Point of order. I would like a privilege to address the body.
Nobody wants to see the sausages being made, is the exact feeling. But, I'm talking about...
How much online shopping you think goes on in that place?
Oh, can you buy me a new constituency? The people that I serve don't like me, and I don't know why.
I've often wondered, and Garrett is the kind of guy, he's not going to badmouth the system.
No. And he's lucky his constituency loves him.
And he's gone up there, and he's got a mission, and his mission is the same mission that should be for every member of Congress, to try to make life better for his constituents. And I think that's one of the first things a lot of congressmen lose sight of after they're up there for a little while.
Or
Garrett is his second term in Congress, or is this his third? I'm trying to recall.
His
third 2-year term, and he still wants to make life better for the people in his district.
Well, there's also the opposite side of that coin. And again, for all of you young people, I'm going to learn you something now, okay?
Here it comes.
Get ready. Here comes what we call the knowledge, all right?
I used to love a good Italian knowledge.
Yeah, I do too, with the little green nuts.
Yeah.
I had an uncle that had little green nuts. It was awful. He was in the hospital for weeks. But anyway, and he wasn't even Italian. But... Now, see, you're messing me up.
I do. I start this.
For all the young people that I'm trying to give them some knowledge. Right. House of Representatives is supposed to be the people's house. The people who we call congressmen, although everybody who serves is a member of Congress, by the way. The people who serve in the House are supposed to represent small districts, and there are, in the Constitution, 435 of those districts in the United States, which is why sometimes some states lose a district and others gain a district because population changes. But they are supposed to look out for local and state interests at the federal level. Now, where we really get into a problem, and bear with me here, is in the United States Senate, because everybody has the same. Everybody has, class?
2 senators.
That's right, 2 senators. And the Senate is supposed to be the deliberative body that takes into account the good of the entire nation, both nationally and internationally. That is why only the Senate of the United States can bring forth and ratify a treaty with a foreign power. That is why if somebody is impeached as president, vice president, member of their own body, member of the House, cabinet member, a U.S. attorney, things like that, those people's actual trial is conducted in the Senate because it is their task to look out for the good of the entire nation. Now, I do believe that we currently have 2 United States senators, in Senator Cassidy and Senator Kennedy, that do exactly that. But some of these guys in the Senate get down to a micro level. They act as if they're sitting in the city council in Slidell. They do not embrace the good of the entire nation.
The scope.
Yeah.
No, and look, I'm going to dare say, and this is a bipartisan complaint, that what they do more than anything else in the Senate is represent their party. Too much. And yes, if you ever this gets back to him, he'll be angry with me. But I think that to some extent, our senators here in Louisiana are guilty of this as well. The Senate has become a big party fight, and it has been for decades.
And since the Clinton administration.
And too many people serving in the Senate, whether they got a D or an R, are more concerned with their team winning than they are with America winning. And that's why we have things the way they are in this country. That's why we have still have injustice, and we still have bad policy.
Yeah, I am not saying that I defend where they are right now, but over the last few years, you could say that both Senator Kennedy and Senator Cassidy and other Republicans are representing the national interest by representing their party because of the economics of the situation.
That I can accept that in some cases.
That's up for you as a voter to decide, but that could certainly be a part of the overall.
But when your objective as a senator is to just automatically gainsay the other party, it's like, well, we need to defeat this bill. Why do we need to defeat this bill? Well, because it's a Republican bill. Well, is it a good bill? Have you looked at it? Have you given it any serious consideration, or have you dismissed it because it's one of your opponents bringing it?
Way too much of that. What I should think that it might be a nice reminder if they find that video of Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill, and they were later joined by, I believe it was not Dick Gephardt, his counterpart in the Senate, having a drink together on St. Patrick's Day. If they showed that every morning that they are in session in either chamber and gave people an idea that you are not here to fight each other. You are here to get something done and conduct the business of the people. And it shouldn't matter, particularly at the Senate level, which party has control, because you know what? Your control is always very tenuous. I don't think I can remember in my lifetime, Kevin, where there was a 62% majority in that Senate. It's always like 54, 52.
50, yeah, it's always close.
It's not bulletproof, in other words.
It's been a long time since there was a filibuster-proof majority.
And you know, there will people that that will grade you based on what did you get done for me today. You know, it's kind of like you have the guy come over to fix something at your house, and he's got his helper, and they argue over the cause for 2 hours and say, we got to come back tomorrow. They didn't get anything done, and they hand you a bill for 2 hours of labor time for each of them while they sat there jaw-jacking. People get tired of that.
Let me ask you this. Let's bring it home and let's talk about the Senate seat held right now by John Kennedy. I like John Kennedy. I think John Kennedy's an okay guy, and he makes me laugh. And I think a lot of his policy viewpoints are pretty much spot on target. But Senator Kennedy ran for that seat against Mary Landrieu and was trounced. And then he came back and he ran for it again. And he missed the boat. But the third time, when she wasn't term limited, she was defeated. What changed in Louisiana?
I think what changed was there was a time when Senator Landrieu was a very persuasive voice for Louisiana in the Senate. I think the makeup of the Senate and I think the economics of the nation changed so dramatically that Mary Landrieu saw the writing on the wall and chose not to run and get defeated. So Kennedy was running up against Foster Campbell. It wasn't going to happen for Foster Campbell.
No.
I don't see
Bill
anybody.
and I it's a moment we like to talk about when Mr. Campbell was running for Senate, and he made an appearance on our radio show. And I just thought, I came away thinking, this guy's not a serious candidate for U.S. Senate, is he? Because he just didn't come across that way. He came across as some kind of a crackpot, you know, boasting of things he was going to do if elected to the U.S. Senate that are state matters. He told us on our radio show that if he was elected to the U.S. Senate, he'd get rid of income tax in Louisiana, which is not any, it's not in the milieu of a U.S. senator to even tackle that.
Not in your power.
And Bill said, you can't do that. And he said, yes, I can. So we challenged him with a how. And he's, well, through leadership. It's like, you really think that the leadership of you as a U.S. senator is going to convince the House and the Senate here in the state to do away with, what is it, 27% of the state fisc?
Now, what's interesting is that, and of course, here's more knowledge, kids, from Uncle Bill. The Senate has a how many year term?
6.
And the senators' terms are staggered. So Bill Cassidy is up for re-election in the fall. I haven't heard one peep about a serious contender for Bill Cassidy.
Not yet. Time to take another quick break. It's looking bad for Congressman Graves to give us a call here. We're going to be right back with more Exiles TV. Far from our best program.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here. Cox Cable is upgrading the signal from the Pelican, but to catch us, you're going to have to tune in now to a new number. Acadiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Gramercy, Lutcher. Check your guide for details.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello, guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bud Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bud Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
Back. This is Exiles TV. By the way, during the commercial break, we got a call from Congressman Graves, and with only a couple of minutes left in the program, not really enough time to engage in a conversation, but we do appreciate it.
And he was doing what we were talking about. He was doing the people's business.
Votes on the floor.
Votes on the floor. So
a lot of us sometimes complain about our representatives, especially in the House, not being there for votes on the floor.
But he will be in the studio with us. Let me look. I got that fancy calendar thing here.
Do you? Next Thursday? Week from Thursday?
Watch me say something wrong. Watch me do that.
Yeah, if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, let me say that. July 9th, next Thursday. He will be here right at the top of the show.
So, gang, with only about a minute and a half left in the program,
Kevin's going to do a song.
Yes.
Give us a number.
Song, the day would never end. What's 4th of July weekend going to look like for you under COVID-19? I mean, we've had some other holidays, but I mean, this is the one. This is Independence Day. This is when we celebrate our country's birth. Of course, we got people out there on the streets telling us our country sucks. I humbly disagree, but Baton Rouge is known for a big 4th of July gathering and fireworks over the river. Not happening. Is your city having anything?
Again, it's an economic thing. You know, for years, Manship Media, WBRZ, has sponsored the greatest portion of the fireworks display, and it's very expensive. And they lost a lot of money. They lost a lot of revenue due to COVID, and so they are unable to do that. But I'll bet you they'll come back with it next year.
Let's hope so. I think the next year we ought to come back and do it big. Big.
Well, you know,
big time.
Somebody said, well, maybe they couldn't get them. They're from China. There are more police complaints right now all over America of fireworks, illegal fireworks going off.
Oh, yeah.
At all hours of the day and night. So
these wonderful protesters who just want to change America in a very fundamental way are assaulting homeless people with fireworks.
Yeah, but there are also people in their own backyards that have nothing to do with the protesters that are putting up large displays.
Yep.
Because they kind of know we're not going to have the 4th of July celebration.
We will be back on Thursday morning, same place, same time, right here on Pelican Broadcasting. We're going to talk about the Louisiana Main Street Project.
And Fire Marshal Butch Browning also joins us on Thursday. They have to tell you how...
Don't blow your fingers off.
Well, that and how many people you can have for your 4th of July celebration if you're a business. So there you go. Everybody have a great day. We'll be back.
God bless.